Io direi di partire subito con una domanda classica. Loro sono al loro primo tour europeo e visto che sono già diversi anni che suonano, sono usciti con diversi album, la cosa interessante era capire come mai è passato così tanto tempo dal loro arrivo in Europa, per quale ragione.
Yeah. Yeah, so he says that your first album dates back to 2011. And as at today you have already released your fourth length album, but you are on your first European tour as far as we know, so why did we have to wait for so long? What happened? What kept you in USA?
I am probably to blame for that, and I had a really bad drug addiction for about 13 years of my life. It was really hard to overcome heroin and crystal methamphetamine and focus on the band like as my main thing. And it was also seemingly kind of scary to dedicate all your time and energy to art and set yourself up for failure. So I kind of let those fears consume me and stayed on drugs. And
so it's a good sign that you're here.
Yeah, and I mean it means that I'm sober, and we have a band that is like a family unit now. So it makes sense for us to come here finally and
that's great.
Come play with these people. So yeah, thank you.
Ok, un'altra cosa interessante come band, noi abbiamo notato che delle nuove generazioni di gruppi musicali, quelli europei sono nel post-punk, sperimentano molto, i gruppi americani invece hanno questa tendenza a suonare molto con strumenti tradizionali, riprendendo molto i Icaro, i Twins, o band storiche ma classiche della metà fine anni 80. E c'è questa cosa molto come posso dire, evidente. Moltissime band americane tendenzialmente usano fare post-punk classico. Mi chiedevo, ecco, se questo è vero e loro da cosa vengono ispirati.
No, he says that you're truly one of the most important bands in the post-punk movement, and a movement that returned on the scene after about that dates back to 7-8 years ago. And he would like to know what do you think of this new surge? Especially with regard to what comes from America.
Well, and we have a lot of friends in America who are peers who are also making post-punk that we really love. I don't know, it seems like there's been a resurgence, like you said. We get to play shows with bands, like we just got to play with Drab Majesty in Brussels, who are friends of ours and are a great post-punk band. There's a lot though. It's exciting, but there's some great and some not so great.
For me, personally, I just think I started kind of gravitating towards this music maybe 10, 11, 12 years ago real heavily in terms of it being my main focus of like what I wanted to listen to all the time. And I've kind of seen we've seen little bubbles, and then it goes down, and then there's some bands that pop up and they go down. Right now, over the past couple of years, it seems, even though it's still kind of a niche scene in America, it's at its most prominent that it's probably ever been, because historically, our influences, so many of them are from over here, whereas in America, For Against, Soul Merchants, Iron Curtain, there's not many bands that I can really name historically from the 80s that played a big role in our sound. So for me it's exciting there's a lot of bands that seem to just be jumping on to the bandwagon of, oh, this is what we're supposed to do next. It's a lot of hardcore kids that they hear Joy Division and they want to do this, you know.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that, but there's some really phenomenal bands in America that Sculpture Club, Human Leather, I could name a bunch that are really exciting. It feels really cool to kind of be part of that circle for the first time. And we've been playing this kind of music together and not together in other projects for over a decade. And there's been times where we were the only ones, period. Really. You know, it was a very, very small scene. So right now it's pretty uplifting, and it's easy to be inspired by your community for the first time in America. It's just cool.
Quindi procede con... ci sono parti della vostra musica che si ispirano a movimenti diversi da questo post-punk, poi tipo psycho, rock, cioè ci sono altre derivazioni?
So, are there parts of your music that are inspired by movements that are different from the post-punk scene, or the new wave one, or I don't know, whatever, psych, rock?
Definitely. Yeah, I think that bands like Spaceman 3, Stone Roses, a lot of the later 80s UK stuff is a huge influence on us. Some of the shoegaze bands, Parma, a lot of those UK bands are really important to us. Even bands like, I would say the Cramps are like a huge influence on a certain guitar tone. And also a lot of experimental stuff. Like a lot of the weird harsh noise stuff had a huge influence on me personally. Like Atraxborg, who's from Italy. Neubelten, a lot of that played a huge role in why I even know him is from making experimental
noise music.
Noise, really. Noise. That was what kind of brought us together. And like noise, power electronics, experimental stuff was kind of the basis of why we met each other and started making this kind of music. So we like everything. Yeah.
La collaborazione con i Chameleons è stata interessante per voi, sicuramente molto. Ora ci si chiedeva se avete per il futuro altre collaborazioni, se state progettando altre cose, magari sempre di questa levatura, di queste band.
We bet that your collaboration with the Chameleons was pretty good, and or at least this is what we hope for. And we would like to know what you're planning for the future, what's boiling in the pot.
The Chameleons thing was unbelievable. To have been able to have played with them was unbelievable. Sending a song to Mark Burgess, who has been a massive influence on us sonically, and how we both play guitars comes from the Chameleons, in a lot of ways. And for him to have written his own lyrics and parts and bring it back was to basically have enough respect for us and appreciation. To do that was mind-blowing. In terms of the future, we're touring with the Chameleons in the US in September. And we come back here to Europe for over a month, all through September and October. And right before that, we'll be recording what we consider to be our fourth record. There's a record called Circle of Trees that was a cassette-only release that some people look at as a full length. For us, it's just like a collection of demos and ideas. But we'll be recording that before we come back here. And we have a producer and a label and all that picked out that we can't talk about yet, but is really detrimental to the project. It's really exciting, the involvement of everybody in it. So
we're excited too.
Yeah, we're just going to keep going as hard as possible. So, and Europe is a big part of that for us because.
Io farei la domanda sull'iPod, cioè cosa ascoltano ora? Segnalata. Quando ascoltate musica per svago, eccetera, insomma, cosa c'è nel vostro iPod?
Yeah, you would like to know which kind of music you listen to, like contemporary music. What you would like to listen to in your free time? What's in your iPod, for instance?
A lot of hip hop.
Hip hop?
Travis Scott, big Travis Scott fans. Not a lot of I mean, you know, the stuff we grew up on we'll always love. The stuff that our influences will always love, but it's not necessarily what we listen to.
Yeah, in terms of current bands.
No problem.
Yeah,
Bands, yeah.
Sculpture Club from Salt Lake City. Constantly in awe of that band. Phenomenal band.
All those bands from Salt Lake City.
But Salt Lake City and Denver, in America are two like the coolest scenes going. But when I want to listen to post-punk, I listen to The Cure. I listen to the Chameleons, The Sound, Low Light, Sad Lovers and Adults. Those bands just kind of perfected it for me, and there's a sincerity to their music that feels lacking from a lot of what's currently happening. So it almost feels what I call paint by numbers, some of the bands that I hear currently, so it doesn't hit me as deep. And I'm not trying to sound like a stomp, it's just I can't control what really does it for me, but I saw The Cure last year for the second time, and it moved me more than any band like that is currently going has affected me, so it's good to know that they still can do that to me, you know.
Beh, dunque, io direi di fare l'ultima domanda.
Sì.
Quella riferita alla poetica, cioè per scrivere la vostra musica avete utilizzato anche altri riferimenti, non soltanto quindi musicali, come si parlava di Twins o di Cure, no? Qual è il vostro immaginario cinematografico, letterario, direi di chiedere, e che poi vanno a proporre al pubblico, cioè tutto sommato è la poetica da dove viene.
Yeah. So I think that in a previous interview you stated something that said that your music references are Cure, Chameleons and all these kind of things, but we would like to know whether you use also other references which are not strictly musical, like from literature, from cinema. What did you use to write your music? What inspired you? And also, we would like to know, what is imagination according to you? Which kind of imagination do you use in order to play your music?
Oh wow, that's a deep question.
Or simply with your imagination also, what you would like to convey to the audience?
You know, for me, the main influence for what I write lyrically comes from kind of just the ins and outs of the life that I lived, of being locked up, going to prison, being on drugs, living on the streets, you know, these ups and downs. For me, I met such a cast of characters that impacted me on such a deep level, who most of my friends didn't even know because they were drug addicts and lived in kind of the seedier underbelly of society. And for me, most of those people died over the past 2 or 3 years. And that's kind of what I pull most of my motivation from, because all of those people at one point or another sat down with me and said, you shouldn't be doing what you're doing here, you need to be making music. You need to be focusing your energy on art and creativity and being around people like Conrad and Owen, you know, and so on and so forth. And that, you know, there's a lot of books, there's a lot of authors, you know, a lot of the more obvious ones like Burroughs and Bukowski that like impacted me quite a bit, but it's really just those people that I feel like no one ever got to know on the level that I got to know, that push me to create, you know, like they're in my lyrics, they're in my words. All of these songs are about
Life experience.
Life experiences, that's probably the main thing. So imagination for me is, gosh, so much of my reality has just been like a really bad dream.
A nightmare.
Yeah, so it's
a proper nightmare.
a proper nightmare. So for me, the imagination is that I can be like awake and be happy and, you know, push forward and gain traction and keep moving and stay sober. And I had a son right before I left. He's 2 months old.
Oh.
So that's
Congrats.
what I'm waiting to go home to, and that's inspired all of us, because we're a family. Like as a band, we're a family. And
Nice.
I really believe that. So we have this little guy.
È un papà di un bimbo di 2 anni, mesi.
Yeah, so that's as motivating as any movie or song, without a doubt. Real life.
I can imagine. And you, cinema, literature, something that might have inspired you somehow, and also if when you play, what you would like to convey as well to your audience?
Yeah, I mean, I think the kind of real life inspiration for the material kind of translates in the music and the performance of it. It's like there are definitely influences from literature and film that, sort of like experimental film, stuff like that. I think about a lot of that stuff with sort of just like guitar tones, sounds, effects, that kind of stuff. But kind of the focus of the music it's sort of tied up in the sort of personal experience of the lyrics to me, I think.
As imagination or life?
Yeah, and I've admittedly put them all through serious hell in terms of like we play a show and it'll be packed and it'll be great, and I am gone for a year.
Right.
Mentally just gone, like strung out. And when it comes to film, like when I think of some of my favorite movies like Drugstore Cowboy, which is maybe a little too autobiographical, I think of when we're writing these songs, could this be on the soundtrack to that? That's really my influence from film, because I've always associated music and film together, and the music has been such an incredible segue from scene to scene. And I've always, like, we'll write a riff in a song and I'm like, that's the opening of a movie right there. Even though it never will be, necessarily.
That's fantastic. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions that you think?
No, io gli volevo solo fare i complimenti, le congratulazioni, perché secondo noi loro sono fra i migliori gruppi in assoluto del loro genere che noi stiamo seguendo.
He really would like to express his congrats to you, because he thinks that you truly are one of the best groups of the kind of music that you play.
That's amazing.
And we play you on the radio quite often.
It's amazing.
Thank you so much.
We've been getting some amazing feedback from Europe in particular since we started as a band. It was really important for us to come over here, and it seems like the conversations that we have with people from everywhere, from Italy to the UK, have been so much more, like people really understand why we're doing what we're doing, compared to America, where the music is kind of a background
Era un'altra cosa che volevo chiedere, infatti.
C'è il feed sul pubblico europeo.
Yeah, he would like to know, Luca, would like to ask you if you notice differences in the audience.
It's completely.
The biggest one being in America, you play for 30 to 40 minutes, they kick you out of the place, they give you 2 drink tickets. You might get paid, you might not, when you're starting out and you're playing music. We'll play a show where we'll bring 400 people in and we'll get a 40-minute slot. And we watch people go off and we watch people walk out to smoke, come into these things. And here in Europe, every single audience member stays exactly where they are, is intent, is focused, comes out and communicates with us how important it was to them. You know, almost.
We feel it to the bones.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like, I think it's probably that way with art, film, everything. There's just a deeper appreciation over here. I could tour here and never tour America again, to be honest.
Oh,
It's been that remarkable, really.
Thank you.
It's really cool.
Okay, we really thank you so much for having given us this opportunity, and good luck with everything.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Grazie a voi.